shoulder angel.
Don't listen to that guy. He's trying to lead you down the path of righteousness. I'm gonna lead you down the path that rocks.
I'll come off it.
You come off it.
You.
You. You Infinity.
Ah.
Listen up, big guy. I got 3 good reasons why you should just walk away. Number 1. Look at that guy. He's got that sissy stringy music thing.
We've been through this. It's a harp, and you know it.
All right. That's a harp. And that's a dress.
Robe.
Reason number 2. Look what I can do.
What? What does that have to do with anything?
No. He's got a point.
Listen, you guys. You're sort of confusing me, so, be gone.
Well, we know that God is not the author of confusion, right?
Hey, I was watching that. Put that cartoon back on.
Okay, break it up. Today, the Bible's going to come alive as we look at the carnal versus the spiritual mind.
So I gotta be on board while you guys go over ancient history? This ain't history class.
In this corner, meet the Spirit. And now, in this corner, meet the flesh. Let's look at it. In Romans 8, we're just looking verses 5 through 8. It says that, for they that after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit the things of the Spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. So they that are in the flesh cannot please God.
Ha! See, I'm above the law. I'm not even worried about that, so why don't you get out my face?
You're going to chill out. A good reference in the Bible where we can use as a check system is in Galatians chapter 5. It'll help us to see in our own lives if we're leaning more towards the carnal mind or the spiritual mind. So in chapter 5, we'll start in verse 17. And it says, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. These are contrary one to the other, so you cannot do the things that you would. But if you be led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulation, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revellings, of the such like, in which I told you before, as I have told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. Okay, time for the breakdown, so we can see clearly how each of these can affect anyone. Adultery, we know, is sex outside the marriage. Fornication is the same, but the people aren't yet married. But is it that simple? Take a look at this and see how foggy it can become.
Let me say something about all this.
All I really need for you, Mr. President,
I know,
is to
but
say
you're
I won't answer under the previous grounds or to answer the question. You see, because we only have 4 hours and your answers are extremely lengthy.
But go ahead and ask your questions.
The question is, if Monica Lewinsky says that while you were in the Oval Office area, you touched her breast, would she be lying?
That is not my recollection. My recollection is that I did not have sexual relations with Miss Lewinsky, and I'm staying on my former statement about that.
If she
my statement is that I did not have sexual relations as defined by that.
If she says that you kissed her breast, would she be lying?
I'm going to revert to my former statement.
Okay.
So there's a variety of things that we can do that physically hits those things. But also, in our very minds, the thoughts that we nourish and we fantasize over. Like a weed in the garden, if it doesn't get pulled, it'll just continue to grow. And as it grows, it'll choke out the good plants.
Come on, get on with it. Who even cares about your garden?
Okay. Uncleanness. It's a lack of integrity. You're intentionally lying to somebody. So you're misleading somebody on purpose. Lasciviousness. Feeling lust. Showing lust. Causing lust. Includes but not limited to excess unbridled lust, debauchery, sensuality, and disregard for public decency. Idolatry, the easy answer on that, it's the worship of idols. But it's so much more than that. It can be a car, it can be a hobby, it can be your family. It's basically anything you put above God. Because like we heard earlier, he doesn't want to be second place. Okay? Now, witchcraft. What's an image you think about when we say witchcraft?
Patronum!
Okay, well, it's not just the casting of spells and conjuring things and all that. It's also things like the potions that are made. And, you know, different herbal solutions. They've been good, but when you put your faith in powers other than God and you put them above God, that's where it's a real problem. Because there are powers that are here, but they're going to die with this earth. We're talking about serving a power that's going to go for eternity, right? Hatred, you know, it's your emotions unchecked, and you're just continually in that state. Variance is discord. It's a lack of harmony. You never want to get along with anybody about anything. I mean, you're just at odds, okay? Strife is tied into more like a selfish ambition. It's the all about me no matter what attitude, no matter who gets hurt, whatever, okay? Seditions are divisions. You're despising authority. You might just hate the government. Heresies, you think about the Salem witch trials. Oh, heretic. Heresies is when you're willfully pursuing knowledge other than what you know to be true, and you're broadcasting that out. So it's, you know something to be true and accurate, and you're just seeking every way to just go around it some other way. And usually people that are heretics will then spread this new doctrine, their private interpretation. Envyings is jealousy, okay? And it's almost like jealousy without cause, and it's not forgiving. It's just envious, not trying to go get it yourself, just upset that they have it. Murders. These can be physical or spiritual. Physical, that's easy to figure out. But spiritual, if you see somebody that's struggling and they're having a hard time or they're overtaken in a fault, like it mentions in Galatians 6:1, we have a chance to restore that person, encourage that person, uplift that person, see them get all the goodness that we've been given from God. But if you try to snub them out or just cast them away or just be bad to them, you know, you go out of the box to do that, I mean, you could spiritually kill that person. Okay, with drunkenness, let's take a look at this clip. And I'm not just talking about alcohol here, okay? It can be drugs. It can be anything that overtakes your senses. Because when you are making bad decisions or you've just got this terrible testimony because of a lifestyle you've chosen to just not be sober, to be just doing whatever, how is somebody going to receive what God's done for you when you've been out there and let's say you're a guy and the person you've been sharing with sees you hitting on every girl in the club late at night, or you're just so wasted that now the cops got you out in town acting the fool? I mean, it's going to really hurt your chances to share with anybody about a better way to live. So it's not limited to drinking. It's not limited to drugs. And this is specifically using them in excess so that your mindset, your clarity of thought is just gone. Okay? Drunkenness. Revelings. This could be like a riotous party. This can be a carousal. This can be parading in the streets. If you think about the wild times at like a Mardi Gras, maybe the person's not drunk, but the person has got a little bit of a buzz, and they're merrymaking, they're going out there, you know, just a big deal. But this leads to lasciviousness. This leads to adultery. This will lead to drunkenness. Reveling, you're taking great pleasure in something like that and just going after and trying to grab more of it. That's revelings.
Look. I haven't even killed anybody. I mean, none of these things you're talking about even sounds like me.
Well, we know that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump.
Why are you even talking crazy? I mean, what does that even mean?
Well, you can't get it. Because the Bible tells us that when the light shone into the darkness comprehended it not. Unleavened bread, it was made in a rush for the Passover where God was bringing his people out of Egypt. And whenever the works of the flesh get in the way of our walk with God, this adds leaven. And our God's a jealous God and never wants to be second place.